Welcome back to Curious Beings Learning Platform and Envision to empower through education. So far we've seen 3 modules where we got to know a lot more about the values, significance of the research. Now in module 4, we're going to see about the clarity and evaluation. So, the basic idea of research is to take a few existing materials, apply knowledge of things that we already aware of, and arrive at new conclusions, which leads to discoveries and important inventions. Apart from an inquisitive mindset and experimenting skill, we need to know what may be the outcome of our experiments before readily performing them. If we are already aware that experimenting on a particular area can cause more harm than good, we should refrain from doing it. But to know whether or not our experiment can have unwanted consequences, we must know the nature of the experiment. Let us assume that we are traveling to a particular place. If we see a while on road that there are several potholes on the road, then we generally tend to avoid it. Instead, we take better routes to reach the same destination. In the same way, we must see and analyze what kind of barriers we will be faced within the routes that we are taking. We must have clarity on what we are doing, and we should be able to evaluate the outcomes that are possibly expected out of our assessments. To build clarity and also be able to correctly evaluate, we must build an important habit. This habit is called jotting down. If we see a particular event, we must write down our analysis from the event that is happening in front of us. Doing so will help us to understand what exactly we can do when we are faced with a similar situation. This habit also helps us to have high sight of our future reference. We are all humans who learn from our mistakes. Therefore, we must also realize another aspect while conducting researches. This aspect is called failure. Failure is the stepping stone to success, and we are all well aware of the same. Self-motivation. When you do not meet your expectations is highly required. You should be ready to face all the consequences, both good and bad, and this quality is of utmost importance. After the experimenting stage, we come across few outcomes called observations. These outcomes under observation help us to chart the path of our research. To arrive at a specific number of observations for your particular experiment, you need to pick a range. For example, if you're going to experiment on a chemical, you must take the most reactive elements on one side and the least reactive on the other side, and then perform your experiment on this range of chemicals while thoroughly observing what happens to each element. While it is not possible to define a range for every research, continuously experimenting will allow us to arrive at our estimation range, which will make our task much simpler.